Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and Ramattra's got to be one of the best tanks that we're ever gonna get in Overwatch 2. So, in the past couple of days, there have been 2 videos released in regards to the brand new tank hero coming out in Season 2. With that being the first look at gameplay of Ramattra, and just earlier today, looking at the early concept art and final design of Ramattra. And if it's not the actual gameplay and hero kit that will make Ramattra one of the best tanks in Overwatch 2, it's gotta be his design, because this is the most complex and dopest heroes that we've ever gotten in like years. Now granted, we haven't got a lot of heroes in the past couple of years, but when we look at the actual early concept art of Ramattra, it's absolutely insane to see how he started off and how he ended. See, when Ramattra was first starting off back all the way in 2017, so almost 5 years that Ramattra's been in development, he was first inspired by one of the null sector units that kind of looked like a shepherd. You obviously see that with the staff, which is what a lot of shepherds use to like herd the sheep. And kind of ironically, the other part about Ramattra in his nemesis form, it seems like the early design was inspired by this satanic goat-like creature. So there's a lot of religious elements, because you have a shepherd, you have a satanic goat that was inspired by a pharaoh that eventually turned into an omnic god. Now, even though I absolutely love Ramattra's final design with the null sector skeleton type silhouette, I wouldn't mind seeing some of these early concepts be made into actual skins for Ramattra. Like, looking at that satanic goat skin, that would be absolutely insane to see that come for the Halloween event. Like, I'm truly surprised that Overwatch doesn't do this for a lot of their heroes, where they take their early concepts and make them into actual skins. Like, we saw the early concepts of Kiriko and different athleisure wear and hypebeast wear. Again, that would be an excellent type of skin for maybe the anniversary event for Kiriko, and for the shepherd skin and the goat skin, that could be a great Halloween skin for Ramattra. But whether they decide to bring these skins in the game or not, I love seeing the early concepts and design of heroes, because it really goes to show how much love and effort gets poured into making these heroes. I mean, it took 5 years to make Ramattra, ever since early concept all the way to final design, and I'm so happy to see a tank like this come into Overwatch 2, because I truly do feel like whether he's gonna be meta or not, he's not only gonna be a very interesting hero, but he's gonna be truly one of the first tanks that was designed with Overwatch 2 in mind, that of course being the 5v5 format. And that's really what I want to talk about for the rest of the video, how Ramattra truly is one of the first tanks designed with 5v5 in mind, because I would even say and argue that Junker Queen was probably designed well before 5v5 was even a thought, just based on how she's played. She's played truly like an off tank, like how a Roadhog is played. Junker Queen really isn't all that different. And I think we're gonna start shifting away from very simplistic tanks like Junker Queen and seeing more designed heroes like Ramattra, where they can fit the main tank and off tank design, where in Overwatch 2 you had the benefit of designing any big beefy hero, and if it fell into the off tank role, okay, that's fine. If it fell into the main tank role, that's also cool too, because you have 2 slots, but now a tank has to fill both of them. And that was a big growing pain and big issue going into Overwatch 2, is that you have all these heroes that are designed with 6v6 in mind, and you somehow have to make them both a main tank and an off tank, and that was truly difficult for heroes like Roadhog that are traditional off tanks, and very, very difficult for heroes like Reinhardt that are traditional main tanks. But now with the addition of Ramattra, this is truly gonna be the first hero where it can confidently fill both the main tank and the off tank role, but more importantly, give the player the decision of when they want to activate that role at just a flip of a switch, literally with a single button with your transformation ability. Which, by the way, if you guys don't even know what Ramattra's abilities are, make sure you watch my video where I talk about his abilities in depth, explain how they work when it comes to his nemesis form and omnic form, because none of this video is really gonna make sense, but once you watch that video, you're gonna see just how powerful Ramattra's gonna be. Not only because he's quite literally powerful with his punching abilities, but also because, like I mentioned before, you're able to fill both roles, which is a big struggle with a lot of heroes right now. Doomfist, I mean, granted, he did kind of get the short end of the stick because he had to transfer over from a DPS into a tank hero, but he obviously is more of an off tank that is just going in and being very aggro. And I'd argue that's probably a big reason why Doomfist is not only one of the worst tanks, but possibly just one of the worst heroes right now. Another reason is probably because people don't want to actually practice Doomfist, that is now a tank, where they still try to play him like a DPS, but when you don't have any protected team aspects, you're gonna struggle being a tank, which is why also Junker Queen fell in the meta, where her protective aspect, which was her commanding shout, gets nerfed. Now, what are you gonna do to help protect the team? Because the commanding shout, it was just enough protection to justify being very DPS-y and being the traditional off tank, because you did have that powerful ability. But once it gets nerfed, okay, well, now we no longer have that main tank to protect all 4 of us in the back. Like, it's almost as if Blizzard either has to give and take a shield or make them 700, 800, or 900 hit points to be able to make them somewhat good. And that's why I'm so excited for someone like Ramattra, because they're not limited with the foundation that they might have established during the 66 era for someone like maybe like Zarya, for an example, where they established her as an off tank where she doesn't have a lot of protective aspects to her, and now going into 5v5, okay, well, what do? Do we give her more abilities, or do we make her more into an off tank to justify not really, like, what do we do to make her a better 5v5 tank? Where Ramattra, they don't have that limitation. It's not like they established Ramattra early on, they have to fit that mold. No, they could do whatever, and they literally did, where they gave him both the main tank and the off tank abilities. Like, he's literally the definition of he protect, but he also attack. But while I mainly only been talking about like main tank and off tank roles, the other part about Ramattra that I really haven't touched on, which is possibly the best part about him and why a lot of shield tanks are probably going to fall out of favor in the meta, if there are any, is the fact that he's able to punch through shields. We saw in the trailer that he absolutely annihilated the Winston when he was in Nemesis form, when he was behind his bubble. He just punched him and killed him. Now, obviously, it all just depends on how much damage you do with your punch, but this is the first ever hero that has been able to actually shoot through a shield. I guess with the exception like Hanzo's dragons and whatnot, and I guess Winston, but like the most obvious, like, hey, he's doing damage to me, but I have my shield up. What am I supposed to do? It's definitely going to be very interesting to see how Ramattra fits in the next meta, or if he's gonna establish the meta, because right now, Sojourn is absolutely tearing it up. Like, she is the best hero to play, which is why we're seeing a rise in Winston, why we're seeing a rise in Reaper, is because it's just a domino effect, where Ramattra, he kind of reminds me of Sigma. Yes, he does have the punchy form, but that's only 8 seconds, but I feel like he's going to be a little bit more of a bunker, a little bit more of a slow-paced hero, which for me isn't all that fun, but that's the best part. That's why I love Ramattra, is because that's not what he's all about. That's why I hate Sigma, because he was so slow and so boring, and he was stuck in that role. But Ramattra has an ability that grants you the ability, just go forth, go, be aggressive, feed all you want, because you have extra armor and extra health, but you better come back, because we still need your shield, and we also need your little void ball or whatnot. But no matter what, whether Ramattra is good, bad, or he is the must-pick tank to play in Season 2 where he sets the meta, a new hero's always good for Overwatch. And for me personally, I think I'm gonna like Ramattra. Traditionally, I haven't really taken well to shield tanks. I didn't like Sigma. I'm not good at Reinhardt. I liked Orisa, but I play Orisa. I don't really like Orisa. The great part about Ramattra is that you do have Nemesis form and a shield. It's stationary and it's temporary. It's not like a traditional shield that we've come to know and hate from Season 1. But let me know what you guys think about Ramattra. Do you like Ramattra? Are you going to become a Ramattra main? Or are you just going to be feeding with Nemesis form and just being punchy boy? Because that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. But anyway, guys, until Ramattra comes out, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.